Wait, are we cussing on these?
I'm cussing on this episode, so
Great.
that's where
All
I'm
the
at.
cusses or just network cusses?
What constitutes, what's the difference between biblical network and like all the way?
I don't know. I think though that if we do cuss too much, I have to mark this as explicit on YouTube and Spotify.
I was gonna do like a PG.
Show, though,
no, like episodes. I think I was gonna do like a PG-13 situation where you get like one good F-bomb and like
you get one. No, that's great. I think PG-13 rules are fine.
Here we go.
Or we can be footloose and fancy free. I honestly don't care. I think if we are like marking these as After Dark episodes, we are saying what to expect. And if we say like this is going to have language in it, and if I mark it as explicit, then it's like, all right, don't listen to this if you don't like language.
Yeah.
Or if you have like, if you're listening to it with kids in the car or whatever.
Right. If you're my two nieces who discovered that I have this side channel, Luna and Sola, click away. Go.
Luna and Sola.
Get out of here.
Turn it off. We'll wait. No, that's good. Yeah. Honestly, all of this is great.
I agree with that. So anyways, shall we do this intro?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. All right.
Oh my goodness. Welcome to Tell Me About It.
After Dark.
The same show you know and love, after hours with pajamas and glasses of wine. So, usually this is, cheers to that. Here we go. Ready?
Yay.
Dink.
Dink.
So exciting. This is usually an educational show, and tonight, education's taking the backseat. And today, we're just yapping. So,
yeah, we try to keep things informative here on Tell Me About It. We try to keep it educational.
Mm-hmm.
But today,
sometimes you gotta let loose.
You gotta let your hair down, kick your feet up, enjoy an adult beverage.
Anyways, we're also going to complain.
We're gonna complain, absolutely, and also we're gonna cuss on these After Dark episodes. We're gonna use some more adult language,
which is really
style.
Unfortunately, maybe not unfortunately, this is how Maggie and I sound regularly.
All the time. We've really reined it in for the other.
It's been a very conscious effort. You think the ums are bad? Guys.
No, I'm actually going to have to bleep myself on the episode that we just recorded the other day because I caught myself saying and then swore. But I think the whole moment's so funny that I'm just going to bleep out what I the cuss word and keep them
love that for us.
But, yeah, so if that's not your taste, then feel free to not listen. But if that is your taste, then feel free to hang out with us while we just shoot the shit. So
I love this. Yeah. So in this episode, we will be talking about our SLPeeves. What piss us off as SLPs? And I thought long and hard about this list. And the only thing that I keep coming back to as an appropriate place to start, because I mentioned it a couple episodes ago, puppets.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. Yes. So this is the episode that just came out. And I was thinking about that as I was like editing it. I was like, wait, why? Because I know you hate puppets, but I was like, why does Francie hate puppets so much? I don't understand.
Question. I don't know. There is something about anthropomorphized things that are not living that freak me out just a little bit. Animatronics, same way. Mascots,
is it like an uncanny valley type thing?
I think it's an uncanny valley thing. They just kind of freak me out. And also, like, I think I just intellectualize too much, and I'm like, I'm talking to a hand. And I can't get over that. Yeah.
That's really funny. I've never thought that before.
No, that's the only thing.
I really like the Muppets. My favorite.
Here's the thing: can't see the humans. Muppets get a pass, and I think that's different. Anything that's in person freaks me out. Ventriloquists, same thing.
Oh, I don't like that. No,
do it. No,
I don't know if it's just that. I feel like the ventriloquist style of humor is generally not my taste. Like, I'm not like nothing bad about it. If you love ventriloquism or whatever, that's really fine. And it is really impressive. Even I, with all of my knowledge of the speech mechanism, don't think I could talk without moving my mouth like that. it's really cool, but yeah, it's just not my taste. I think the humor is always like really kind of hokey and a little slapstick, and that's not really my thing most of the time. But
I can't do it. I have a very high tolerance for whimsy, and I draw my line at puppets. So, like, if you need to know where the ceiling is, you want to know where my ceiling is on whimsy, it ends at puppets. So I can't do it. Even little finger puppets. Today, one of my kids like had some finger puppets, and they were doing like the mommy finger, daddy finger, and I was like, this is tolerable. This is tolerable. I can handle finger puppets and like doing the little songs or whatever that go along with them. But like trying to stimulate a sound or like trying to like elicit a sound with a puppet, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I love the people for whom that works. It is not me. It's not me. So
different strokes for different folks.
Not puppets for Francie. So
that's okay. Actually, something that used to be an SLPeeve of mine, but I've since turned around on, are those mouth models.
I do like a mouth model. I don't hate them.
I used to hate them. I don't know. I just thought they were like gross. I just didn't.
There's a specific flavor of mouth model that I don't like, and it's the silicone one that goes on your hand. Once again,
that's a puppet.
That's a puppet. Damn it! It all comes back to puppets.
It all comes back
to puppet. The one that has like an extra like spot for your finger to like move the tongue, that one freaks me out. But if it's just like a big mouth situation and you can like see the mouth and it opens up, but it's the big one, I don't mind the big one. The little one that you have to put your hand in, I can't do it. Puppet adjacent.
It's too close to puppets. Honestly, I don't love that one. That's not even the one I was talking about. The one that you can move the tongue, and that image does kind of gross me out for some reason. I don't like that. I don't like that. Yeah, no, I've turned a corner on those though, and now I don't have one. I need to get one though, because currently what I do for speech sounds that you can't see, like on your lips, you know, or with your mouth open or whatever, is I take Crocodile Dentist, my game, and I open his mouth up. So then it doesn't even work that great because his mouth is like agape, like it's so open. And then I make a tongue out of Play-Doh and I use that.
That's cute. That's fun. Wait, that's fun.
It works, honestly. So yeah, so maybe I'll get a mouth model, maybe I won't. But I did used to really hate those things for some reason, and I don't know why. Oh, but along the lines of puppets, this is not an SLP, this is a tangent, but I hate any mask that covers the whole face and you can't see the person's mouth moving, but you can still hear them talk.
Yep, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. That's very it awakens like a fear response in me. Like
as I've been sitting here thinking about puppets, I'm like, no, it activates my fight or flight. Like I can't do it. Nervous system's too activated. I can't.
Puppets, and I think that maybe it's because it's something that is used in horror movies, like the like masked killer or whatever, like Ghostface in Scream, which I haven't even seen. But like, you know, it's so culturally whatever. That's his name, right? Ghostface?
Yeah.
He's got the ghost face. Yeah.
You are correct.
Or the hockey mask.
The Jason Voorhees situation.
Yeah. I don't like that either. No. The Purge too. Those masks.
No.
Didn't like that. Also, now I'm just rambling. This is Ramble City. If the Purge happened and was real, would you jump straight to murder, or are there other crimes you would commit instead if you couldn't be prosecuted?
What an odd tangent. You know,
it's Tell Me About It After Dark, baby.
We're going there. We're really going there. You know, probably. I don't know if I would. Here's the problem, and here's my mindset on it. If there are so many other crimes going on around me, I don't think I would have to fight through all of that crime to rob a bank, or like fight through all of that crime to do the other crime. Might as well just go for the big one, right? I don't know.
I can't think of anybody that I want to kill that bad. I think I would probably maybe just commit some property crimes. I don't think I would.
Maggie's line is vandalism.
Yeah, I would probably just vandalize and probably steal some stuff.
No, realistically, I'm hunkering down for the Purge and I feel defending my domicile. Like, I don't.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think that I'm just like picturing this world in which the Purge is real. And you like go to work on a day that's not the Purge, and someone's like, "Oh, I love your jacket." And you're like, "Thanks, I stole it during the Purge." Oh my gosh, I love your shoes. Where'd you get them? Oh, I stole them during the purge.
You know, working in education would be the funniest place to be the day after purge.
So true.
Because what would that look like, right?
Yeah, just a bunch of like broke teachers and SLPs being like, yeah, I stole $600 worth of frozen food from Walmart.
I broke into Super Duper and I hijacked resources.
Not Super Duper. I dug through all the Amazon packages until I found Bajorm speech cards and I kept them.
Yes. Oh my god.
I actually haven't seen any of the Purge movies, but I saw that online that like if all crime was legal for a day, would you jump immediately to murder? Like that's kind of crazy, right?
Something to think about. I feel like I would have to like get my feet wet first with something not murder. But yeah, that's just me.
I just really feel like I really don't want to kill anyone.
I have to agree with you there.
That's like probably number one on my list of things that I hope never occurs in my lifetime.
Bunkering down, protecting my house. That's where I'm at. Don't bother me. Yeah.
My big tough husband and my absolutely insane dog. Anyway, that was a tangent, but
anyways, what a tangent.
SLPeeves.
SLPeeves. I got plenty of them.
Yeah.
I got plenty of them. I was thinking about them. Yeah, I was trying to think of what maybe this isn't necessarily an SLPeeve, but it is something that invades my everyday. I can't turn off my speech brain. Maybe that's an SLPeeve. Speaking of movies, went and watched Predator Badlands a couple days ago. Fabulous movie. The whole time I was like, we have mandibles. We have mandibles. I'm going to watch because this is the first time you get Predator, like the Yautja language, right? And I was like, are we going to use bilabials in this alien language when we have no
labials?
Labials? They didn't. I actually had to look it up after the movie. And the whole time I was like, they did not use any bilabial sounds. They did not use any alveolar sounds, any dental sounds either. And I was like, okay, watching the movie, I was like impressed. They had a linguist on set.
Oh, thinking about this. They had a linguist.
And I listened to the interview with the person who created the language. They did like a short little interview. Fascinating. And I love that I clocked that before I even watched the interview, but I cannot turn off the speech part of my brain.
I'm really proud of you for that.
She's constantly on. She's constantly on. And unfortunately, here I am at 7 p.m. With my husband watching a movie, and I'm like, oh, is the mouth? How are they making those sounds?
Like, produce a labial, I dare you.
I dare you.
Produce an interdental sound. Do it.
And they didn't. So mad props from an anonymous speech language pathologist, let me tell you, a movie person who does this professionally for languages. Wow. I noticed. Good job.
Yeah. I also have that of like, I can't turn off speech pathology brain, but it's in the sense that I don't know how to behave normally around children.
Oh man, I recast my husband all the time. It just happens.
Yeah. I've gotten a little bit better about it with kids. I babysat this past weekend for some people that I know. And I felt like I behaved normally around those kids. So
there you go.
Sometimes it takes me a second to like get out of therapist mode and into I'm just spending time with you socially.
We have talked about how hard it is to be around children who are otherwise like meeting developmental norms at an expected pace. Because it is I don't know how to interact with them. What do you mean? Like, do I get you a beer? Like, what do I do?
What a beer?
What a beer? He's 4. I don't know. There's a lot of times where I'm like, I like kind of stop and have to reset manually and be like, oh, what am I doing? Too frequently. So
I did this with my nephew over the summer. We were playing and he's like 2. He's like 2.5. So this was a few months ago, but we were playing and we were playing with toy cars and he kept saying, I think that I was just repeating him a lot. Like I was like repeating his utterances and then also like I think I was hitting him with the like, oh, you can say go car or whatever, like modeling a lot of language. And at one point, this toddler literally looks at me like with the facial expression of like, lady, why are you repeating me so much? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, just be Aunt Maggie. Just be Aunt Maggie. Don't be Miss Maggie. Just Aunt Maggie.
No, Jack will be like, can you hand me that? And I'm like, oh, you want me to hand you the cheese from inside the fridge? And I'm like, ah, crap.
You want me to hand you the cheese?
I'll get the cheese. And I'm like, Francie, stop.
Yeah, it is tough when it's just like most of our time is spent with children. And so then when we have to spend additional time with children, it's like, I don't know how to act
with you. I had that thought recently when like, I don't know how people, you and I are both childless. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
How educators work with kids all day and then go home to their own kids. Horrifying thought that I will one day face, but not in the near future. But I had that moment where I was like, huh? You mean therapist Francie's just on all the time? Oh no.
Yeah. Well, and I think we mentioned this in like the behavior in language, or maybe it was when we talked about that post from Reddit about introverted SLPs, but like having to be in charge in a conversation is hard. Like when you like, so like, and this happens with kids naturally because they're just kids. And so like as the adult, you're the one in charge, like running the show. Yeah, it's tough. And so like it's nice to be able to come home to an adult and turn that off. Like I'm not in charge of my husband. He's going, like I don't have to drive the conversation the way I do with a kid. So it's nice. Yeah, that is not being able to turn off therapist brain is an SLP for sure. This is maybe not an SLP for me, but something that I do that is peevesome to other people is that if I meet a kid and they have a speech error or they're doing something funky and then their parents later like learn what I do or whatever and say like, oh yeah, they go to speech therapy or whatever. I'm like, I know.
You're like, I was aware
the second they started talking. Like I don't say it like that to them because that would be extremely rude. But I sometimes will say like, oh yeah, I noticed that. Glad they like their speech therapist or whatever. But like, no, that's something that it's like, yeah, I heard that right away.
I caught that right away.
But yeah. Ooh, okay. I do have an SLP, but it's kind of mean. And I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Not mean, your feelings.
If it's too mean, we will cut it in post.
That's true. This is an SLP of mine is the like, I don't know how to describe this other than like the white saviorism of speech
you're so right.
technology. And I recognize my place and my role in this for sure. But I think the stuff that's like, I'm an SLP, everyone has a voice type of because it's like, yes, everybody does have a voice. Absolutely. But sometimes I worry that we take that outside of like championing people so that they can.
When you, sorry to just interrupt, but when you center yourself as a therapist in the middle of this conversation instead of the people that you're serving, that's a huge ick to me. Because quite frankly, it's not about me. We are support characters in this child's main character story, or this adult's main character story. So when you center yourself as a therapist in that conversation,
it's the centering, and especially like, of course the like white saviorism, the white part definitely comes into play too, which like, we can't help the fact that we're white. That's a part of who we are, and can't change it, but like you can acknowledge it and like be aware of how that demographic might impact your practice and stuff. Like, I don't know. That's like an ick to me. And it's totally the centering part. I'm so glad you said that. Cause that's what it is. It's like, we're not the main character. But not in a way that's like we're just Martyrs on the no, not that. Just
in a similar
like it's not really about us. We're just here to like give you guys the tools, like give our clients the tools that they need, and then hopefully like they don't need us anymore and we back off, but
there is also in a similar vein, a similar flavor of this. And I just watched who is it on Instagram? They are a group. Give me a second. They just did a reel about this.
Diamond is under the table right now that I'm sitting at. Her. And I think it's raining here. I think I saw lightning a second ago. So she's oh yep, there I see it. She's scared of thunder.
Sweet girl. So it's open Future Learning did a reel about it, talking about that one staff member who thinks that they have a special connection with the person that they're working with, and they don't. And they're like, I'm just their person with a child with like complex needs. And I'm like, they might have they indicated such? Have you asked the person that you're working with if you're their favorite?
Yeah.
This is weird to be like, no, I just know them. Like
I just know them. Okay, but by that same token, whenever in the schools, whenever I got an IEP for a kid with behavioral concerns, and then I had no behaviors from them, I was always like, that's
different because you have data. That is a data supported claim.
That is true. That is a data supported claim of like, oh, they were in ISS every day except for the day that I had to pull them from speech, and they did fine for me, and they didn't do
similar. Man, let me tell you, rapport takes you so far. Similar. Opposite of an SLPeeve, one of my favorite things is when I do go, because when a kid is in ISS, you still have to service their IEP minutes.
Yeah.
And you go to pick them up, and I'm like, hey, is it an okay day to speech? Like, are you in a space where you're ready to work on this? And they're like, yeah. And then they pick up, they move to my room. We do a normal session like normal, and I drop them back off at ISS, and they are fine.
Yeah. I had a kid in the elementary school we worked in that when I got this kid's IEP, I was like, ooh, boy. I mean, like they had a thick stack of reports about behaviors. And it was stuff like reports written by the last SLP of like student threw a chair at the SLP, like hit, kicked, screamed, like really big behaviors. They had a lot of that going on. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to spend the first handful of sessions building rapport with this kid. And first day, I was like, what are you like into? Like, what do you like to do? And they said they really liked Lego Batman. And so I was like, great, tell me everything you know about Lego Batman. And we did that for 2 sessions, and it was great. I did not have a single issue with this child. Yeah, and I saw him for 2 years. It was great, not a single incident.
Let me tell you, this leads into another kind of SLP that I have. Working in education, there's a lot of power dynamics at play, whether that's admin that work above you or you being in control of children. Let me tell you, I am not somebody who is above letting kids lead. I am so not somebody who has to be the rightest person.
Really good job at this.
I don't have to be like, if the kid wants to do something, I do not care. Like, great, let's color instead of do the craft that I had laid out, or like, let's do something different. Like, I'm totally good with changing plans. I do not have to be the most rightest, and that child does not have to bend to my will if it means that we're going to get progress anyways. Like, I'm just not somebody who gets twisted about that. And like, I see it a lot in autism classrooms, and I don't know why that dynamic is there, but I see it so often of like, no, you will listen to me, like compliance above all. And I hate that mindset.
Yeah.
I'm not one for compliance. Well, we've talked about this. There's a place for compliance.
For sure.
There's a place for compliance specifically when it comes to health and safety. But like, okay, so you want to do dominoes instead of like Uno? Cool.
Great.
I don't care.
Yeah, I think as a therapist, I hold the line a little bit more than you do of just like, no, like I am in charge. Like you can choose what we do, but I'm the grown up here.
And don't get me wrong, there's still boundaries to that situation. Oh, like we still have to.
You are not a pushover by any means. Any means.
There's a lot of flexibility, and I give them a lot of leadway, but there are pretty hard boundaries. We are not going to get on a new game until you clean up the other game. And sometimes I'm a 1 game per session person. So like, don't get me wrong, there's boundaries there, but I am not gonna die on a hill.
Yeah.
That I don't care about. So
I think by that, all I meant by that is just I tend to be a little more structured.
You are much more structured than I am.
Yeah,
and for my first few years, I was like, how does she do that? I was like, I need to know how to emulate that.
I have control issues. Thanks. That's how I do it.
That's how she does it.
Logical need
to be in control.
Because
you had such.
I'm totally joking.
They're so quiet. They're so peaceful. Like and I am.
My session,
a whirling dervish over here.
I did have kids on a schedule, and I think it's because in my mind, school is a very structured environment, and from what I have seen, and especially the population that we were working with, kids thrive with structure, not like commanding, like they don't, not the my way or the highway structure, but a predictable, safe, rhythmic routine can really do a lot for kids. And a lot of the kids that we worked with came from really chaotic environments. And so I think at school, knowing what to expect and when to expect it was helpful. So I tried to emulate that. And it was like a emotional safety type of a deal of like, they knew what to expect every single time they came to speech. And it also helped me stay organized because I had all their stuff in cubbies. They knew exactly, like, come in, sit down, get your stuff out of your cubby, sit down. At the end, we do your reward chart. Yeah, I did reward charts. Okay.
I actually said, I don't care.
I don't want to hear about it. I understand.
But you did a really good job because it wasn't you giving them the reward. It was them grading themselves. And I feel like
it was, I had them doing self-reflection and evaluation. And also when I say the expectations were on the floor, it was like, you had to do two things to get your like star on your chart, which was one, follow the general expectations of the school building. That's it. And then two, finish your work for the day. And also I was really lenient on that because like if we had kind of a crazy session or if I planned too much and we didn't finish it, then I would say like, hey guys, that's on me. We didn't get done with everything. Because I had a visual schedule too. So if we didn't get through everything, then I would just be like, okay, but you still get a star. Because like, it's not your fault that we didn't get through everything. So it was like, finish your work. Or like, if you don't finish your work and it's your fault, then you don't. But yeah, and it was nice because it did give sessions more of a rhythm. And so like they knew at the end, I would say like, okay, we're about to wrap up. Everybody needs to grab their star charts. And we would and I would say, did you earn a star today? And once they had learned the expectations, they could say yes or no. And sometimes they would be like, yeah. And they had the world's worst behavior for 30 minutes. I'd be like, interesting. Really? Do you think you earned a star today? And they're like, no. I'm like, yeah, why not?
Let's talk about it. Come on.
Let's talk about why not. Like, I still love you. I still believe in you. Tomorrow's a new day. We're going to do better. We're going to try again. But no, today you don't get a star. Sorry. But yeah. And so I do like, kind of, I liked doing that in the school environment. In private practice, it's a little bit different just because
it's the nature of private practice.
Yeah. And coming to speech is out of routine. Like they're not doing their normal stuff. They have their normal day and then they come see me or whatever, so it's just different, but yeah.
It is. No, it is weird. I'm kind of reflecting on it. I am both structured and also unstructured in my sessions insofar that we do have a rhythm. Like I always say the same things when we come into speech. We do the same kind of like entrance routines and exit routines. I also use a visual timer. That's been a new addition to my therapy room, which has been really awesome.
Game changers.
Yeah. And so I have a timer that I'll set at the very beginning of the session. We sit down. We can either sit on the carpet or at the table. I'm good with either. Just kids get to pick. I'll sit down. I'll set the timer. And while I'm setting the timer and pulling up everybody's questions, we're answering a question of the day. Today's question of the day was, would you rather eat a cup of lemons or a cup of sugar? Just silly question. I'd answer. What would be your answer to that, Maggie? Let's take a tangent because that was my would you rather for the day.
I would rather have a cup of lemons.
I would too. I had to explain this to so many kids. It'd be like a cup of sugar. And I said, do you know how many granules of sugar that is? Uncountable.
I'm picturing chomping on grains of sugar and having an unpleasant sensory experience.
Tear up the roof of your mouth, but what? A cup of lemons is like a lemon and a half. Like,
yeah, well,
if it's in slices,
get, like chemical burns, probably.
Probably, but the sugar's also gonna tear up the roof of your mouth.
It is, and I have so many. I grind my teeth at night. I have so many cracks in my teeth. Eating sweet stuff kind of sucks, actually.
Yep. No, would much rather eat. But anyways, we answer our question of the day. Enjoy that kind of chit-chatty conversation and work on social skills. As I'm pulling up, can you hear Buddy yowling again? Oh, he's so sad right now. Oh. Anyways, we answer our question. We work on the social skills and pragmatic skills as we get our questions pulled up. We dive in to do our work. They know that they have to do between 7 and 10 trials of whatever it is we're working on. And if they're articulation, they have to do 5 to 10 individual trials of one word. So we have to do 10 words 5 to 10 times. And so the rhythm is pretty much the same. And then when we have 4 minutes left in our session, usually that we're done with work by then. And then we get just to play for the rest of the time. But then I have to give verbal warnings of like, okay, guys, we have 5 minutes left of speech. Sorry, Jack's down talking to the dog. We have 5 minutes left of speech. Okay, we have 1 minute left of speech. Okay, it's time for us to clean up, and using the same verbiage over and over again. I use a lot of the same scripts. I think the scripts in therapy kind of helps provide that structure too of like, you know, the expectation, here's the same words. Anyways, and I do it. I think I've told you this story. I have the same script so much that I have a student right now who has a really gnarly, they've got autism and a really gnarly cleft palate. And so they have intelligible speech, but they use the same intonation that I do when I say it's time for speech. And they go, and like they sit the same like intonation that I do. And I'm like, you know what? Scripts are solid.
Yeah. I really do believe that like if in the position that we are in, kids should know what to expect from us. Like we do not need to be an unpredictable factor in
I don't need to be surprised, like a surprise for them.
Yeah,
like
you don't need to be a wild card.
Nope. I need to be stable. I need to be predictable, which is why I don't do star charts and like reward systems. Because I don't have the organization to be able to follow through on the reward side of things. I don't trust myself to do Secret Santas because I cannot follow through on gift giving. Okay. I do not have the organization skills to be able to do like any type of like secret buddy situation, which happens a lot in schools. Not in this house. And that's also why I don't do reward systems for kids, because I will forget.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I have heard not really even mixed. I like reward charts and that kind of like token economy stuff has really fallen out of vogue in more progressive.
I would agree with that. I'm at a PBIS school and it's still a really big deal. So, but it's things like we do like positive behavior referrals. And after we get so many in the building, everybody gets a reward. So like they get to watch a TV show during lunch or something like that. So like, it's still kind of that reward system-y type situation. But like,
yeah. And I get the, like some of the criticisms that I've seen of it are like, it's shame-based.
Sure.
And like, yeah, I get it. There are some things with that though, that like this is how life is, you know, like it's kind of like, I understand that this is not the greatest and we see evidence shows us that it's not the best, but unfortunately, like we live in a world that's not the greatest and like not the best, and kids are gonna have to grow up and know how to kind of play the game a little bit, and I do think that there's a time and a place.
There's a time and a place, and I think there's a way to do it in kind of like a harm reduction kind of manner. Like it doesn't have to be shame-based if you don't make it shame-based.
For sure.
And if you're judging your progress on speech and you do have a tough day, I think it leads to a productive conversation about like, hey, these were the expectations. What happened? What can we do differently next time? And I think coming from that point, instead of you didn't get your star today because you didn't do this, I think that's a much healthier and productive way to do a chart like that, as opposed to, being really critical and like holding that reward or that like token over a child's head.
Which I also think like clip charts too.
I'm scared of a clip chart, girl. I remember getting clipped down one time and I was like, oh.
I do too. You and I were both very good noodles in elementary school and did not get clipped down often. I remember also the one time I got clipped down and I had to walk at recess. Mm-hmm. Now, here's my question, Frances. Is it shame-based or is it embarrassment-based?
It's embarrassment-based. That's such a good, because it's not necessarily that it was telling you like to be shameful of this. It was embarrassment-based.
It's embarrassment-based, which again, not great.
Not great.
But there is a qualitative difference between being like, you got clipped down to red because you are bad and you're a bad kid who's stupid and unlovable, and then being like, you made a mistake. This is a natural consequence of your actions, or not natural, but this is a consequence of your actions. And we're all in this room. Everybody saw you acting a fool, and now they're going to see the clip with your name on it, clipped down to red. This isn't new information to anybody. We all saw you wiling out. Like that's kind of where I fall with it with classrooms. And I do think that there's better ways and worse ways to implement it.
Agreed totally.
It's just me.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's not great to use embarrassment as a motivator. I don't recommend that. It's
effective. It's high. What is it? High risk, it's a very effective tool. It is a dangerous tool sometimes.
Yeah. All right, more SLPeeves.
Paywalls. Quit putting paywalls on stuff. I just want free TPT stuff. Why does everything?
Wait, should we talk about ASHA?
Oh, talk about a paywall. Girl.
Is ASHA an SLPeeve for you, or how do you feel?
I have such mixed feelings about ASHA. And it goes back to that good noodle thing, because I like having credentials on my name, even if they're pointless. Granted, do I like spending $250 on them every year? No, I don't. And I don't think ASHA does enough for us. And I have mixed feelings about that. Like, anyways, you keep going, because I got me.
No, I want to hear, like, yeah, your mixed feelings. I think that's totally real. And a lot of my personal, like, participation with this discourse has been online. And online is very polarized. So, grain of salt and all that. But I feel like I was messaging with one of my, like, mutuals on Instagram recently about they had posted some like ASHA backed information or something from ASHA's website as like, this is evidence to support a claim I'm making, which I think valid. But then people who were opposed to the claim that they were making were like, oh, well, you use ASHA. Like, ASHA's bullshit anyway.
ASHA's bullshit, but they have good evidence. Like, it's like the journal. I pay for a very expensive magazine subscription, and that magazine subscription has good information in it sometimes. Okay. Yeah. Does it lobby for me enough? No. Do I think it's stupid that you have to have C's to bill Medicaid? Also, yes. Two things can be true at once. ASHA doesn't do much, but I do like what they do. Okay.
Yeah. My thing that I've fallen on, and I said this to my mutual and I've said it to you, of like, I don't agree with how ASHA is running their business. I don't think they're lying to us. Like,
I agree with that. I think they are plainly clear about how little they're doing for
Yeah, it is abundantly clear what they are doing, which is not a ton. Mostly taking our money. But also, like, I don't think that if ASHA put something on its website that it's false. Like, I think that they are still a reputable organization that I turn to for information. And I'm glad that we have that. Like, I don't want them to go away.
I agree with that. I just wish they'd change their pay structure.
I want them to be better.
I want them to be better. This is the call for, like, I want this to be better for all of us. I think there's better protections I could put in place for people who are paying members. And it's just, 100%. I don't know, man. I wish they'd lobby more for us. I wish they would actually like lobby for caseload caps and not, once again, Medicaid, like the requirement to have C's to bill Medicaid, because that's kind of shady. Anyways, look up Fix SLP if you want to get more information about it, about ASHA as a whole.
That is true. I do like Fix SLP, but they get also a little vitriol.
They get a little vitriol,
and it's not them, it's usually the people in their comments. Which honestly, that's on me. The comments. I shouldn't have done that.
I don't know. I am not that pressed about it, because ultimately, am I going to keep paying it? Unfortunately, yes. So like, do I have bigger fish to fry at this point in time? Yeah.
Yeah. Let somebody else try that.
You know what? This is gonna be my SLP statement on it. I got a kid who's making me look up treatment of the empty set. I am not fighting Asha right now. Like, I got different things going on.
It's time to fight Asha. I'm trying to build a business. I'm trying to teach myself how to run a business. Right. I don't have time to fight Asha.
No.
I have other things to do.
And for those of you who are, fight the good fight, sis. Yeah. But like,
I'm not saying nobody should do it.
I'm not saying nobody should do it. I'm just saying it's not my fight, okay? I'm not happy about it, but like, it's not enough for me to take up arms yet, okay? That might change, but at this point in time, I'm mildly perturbed. So
yeah, Asha's a bit of an SLP for me, just because it is expensive and they don't really do anything for us. So
no,
like, I think that let me put it this way, if I got rid of my Asha membership, I would barely notice, because that's how little they do for us throughout the year. I would just save myself $250
at Christmas time.
At Christmas time, Asha.
That's so rude.
And I know that the window opens earlier.
Am I going to pay it then?
No one's doing
not.
Anyway,
I'm going to forget about it until January 1st. Okay.
I'm going to do it at the last freaking minute, just like everybody else in the world.
Okay. It happens. Yeah. Okay. No, Asha is an SLPeeve of mine. I wish they were better, but they're not detrimental enough to me. And I think it would be worse if I worked in the hospitals. I think I'd be more pissed off if I worked in the hospitals, specifically with all the insurance rate cuts that have been going on right now, and Asha not actively lobbying for that to not happen. But I work in the schools, so it's just different. Also, you can probably add insurance to an SLP of mine. So
yeah. I haven't had to bill insurance yet. All of my clients right now are private pay, which I love.
Love that for you. I really love that for you.
It's so much easier. So yeah, but I'm really not looking forward to it. I feel like it's this like boogeyman that's lurking in my closet. I'm like, I'm gonna have to deal with you. And I'm scared. I don't want to. Oh, okay. I thought of another mean SLPeeve.
Let's hear it.
Okay, another SL. I'll cut this out if I listen back and I'm like, wow, that was really bitchy. Another SLPeeve of mine is
girl.
And we actually decided that was too bitchy to leave in, so we're gonna cut everything we just talked about.
Sometimes for the sake of decency, we just give it the axe.
It's okay to complain, but it's not okay to
cyberbully.
Yeah, it's not okay to be mean to people. So
anyways,
that's just between friends and
just between us gals.
Sorry, y'all.
I do have another SLPeeve though. I think there's been a lot of mixing up of apraxia versus really severe phonological disorder, and that's been getting on my nerves. I think that we are like, when people are presented with a kid who's severely phonological or who's got really complex phonological processes like phoneme collapse, I think people are really quick to slap apraxia on it, and it's not. That's my hot take on that. I think that we just need to find, or just not necessarily find, but phonological processes are really hard to treat, and I think it's easier to say it's apraxia.
Which is saying something, because apraxia is not easy.
Really hard to treat. Really hard. I think it's easier just to say, oh, well, it's a motor disorder, as opposed to something that's a language-based phoneme disorder. When they are truly unstimulable. Like truly unstimulable. But those phoneme collapses, man, they'll get you. But like,
phoneme collapses are rough. I worked with a kid that had a phoneme collapse of like 8 phonemes to H.
What do you do in that situation? Like, and that's the thing. What do you do in that situation? And so I get it, where you're like, no, it has to be motor based. Unfortunately, that's phonemes. That's a phonological disorder. So
yeah, and I treated it straight up as a phonological disorder, because I do firmly believe. I think we gave her the Kaufman. We gave her like an apraxia test, and she didn't.
If they've got, and this is kind of what this has been my guiding light recently, because I've been having this conversation a lot at school. Which is, if they've got typical prosody, they've got repeatable, consistent errors and their vowels are unimpacted, that is a phonological disorder.
Yeah.
And so also, this is just me theorizing. This is totally separate tack. You and I have both worked with kids where I'm like, what's going on with your vowels? And I don't know what it is, but something funky happens with vowels sometimes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like the Peppa Pig effect, where like they just consumed a lot of media that had like a dialect that wasn't theirs.
Yeah.
Or like of them around, but there's always something, I don't know, there's like this something that happens with vowels sometimes. I'm like, what's happening here?
Sometimes kids have weird vowels. And I have noticed the biggest time, like the number one culprit of this in kids that do not have apraxia is short I versus short E. So like
like the pen situation.
Yes. And I have worked with some kids that cannot hear the difference, cannot tell. And one I know for sure it was dialectical. She was like an Ave user, speaker, and I am not. And so we were working on reading. So this was the tricky thing where I was like, that's how you say it, and that's totally fine. I don't need you to change the way you say it. I do need you to know how to spell this word. And so that was like a tricky of like, we had to break it down, and like I taught the difference, and we did almost even like a minimal pairs-ish type skill, even though she didn't have a phonological disorder. It was just, that is not a meaningful difference in the way that she was speaking. And so I was like, again, I don't need you to change this, but I do need you to know which letter sound is the correct one to use. So I need you to at least be able to hear the difference. And I have encountered a couple of other kids that also have a hard time with that, pen situation.
And like sometimes, and I think I noticed it the most with R's because I'm thinking about vowels the most with R's, with vocalic R's.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's funky vowels that I can't quite place what's going on. I think about one kid that you and I shared. They were working on S, and the like stimulus word was sand, and they pronounced it sand.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah. That
And
kid in particular had very funky vowels, and I don't know
what was that. You know,
no idea.
Girl,
No
what
idea.
was that?
Because I've also met their siblings and their parents, and I was like, no one else is talking.
No one else sounds like that.
I don't know what's happening here.
No,
and I am like extremely Midwestern, so I don't even say sand. I say sand.
I have
it's in my nose.
Yeah, no, I have very wide, like smiley vowels, so like I get it. But it was very
there was sand in my bag. Like I'm horrible. Oh my God. Like I'm so aggressively Midwestern that I'm like, I don't want to teach you to talk like me either.
And so anyways, but like I sometimes with R's, I like the vowels that lead before it. I'm like, the R is not the issue right now. It's the vowel before it, and I can't tell what's going on.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if there's any research out there to talk about this. This is just something that I've noticed that I'm just like, what's happening? Why can't I figure this out?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure either. And I encounter it so infrequently that every time I stop working with that child, I forget that it exists until the next time pops up.
In the session, you're like, what is happening?
I was going to look into that. Oh, okay. Going off of your SLP of like apraxia and phonology being mixed up, do we feel like motor stuff is kind of trendy right now? Like, do we feel like it's kind of having a moment in the sun in a way that is maybe not accurate, where everyone is like, everything is motor?
I think it's the same thing that happened with tongue ties a couple years ago. I think it's just kind of having a moment where everybody's like,
oh that's also having a resurgence. I don't know.
It's having a resurgence. It's always having a resurgence. I feel like tongue ties were really big 10 years ago, and now it's back. But I think it's all kind of tied to this whole like kind of holistic-y situation. But I feel
have that kind of like alternative medicine flair to it of
that's because chiropractors, I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna be mean about it. Chiropractors have no business teaching or like remediating speech sound disorders or feeding disorders for that matter. And
so mean it's literally not in their scope.
I'm gonna say this with my whole chest: get out of the field. Like that's go back to bones. Okay, not here. Anyways, I feel like they've really latched on to tongue ties in this whole like quote unquote functional neurology. I had to block that word on Instagram because I was like, get this shit out of my face. So anyways, if you're a functional
can go straight to hell.
I'm
not cutting this out of the podcast.
And I'm not sorry about it, okay? I'm not sorry about it.
So strongly about this. That is not real. And if I see one more chiropractor using a green LED light on a baby's head trying to fix their dysarthria, I'm going to go to jail. Okay?
There's the door. Okay?
There's the door, sis.
Look, real take on tongue ties, because I've had parents ask me this school year, they're like, can they not read because of their tongue tie? Hello?
No,
they can't read because they're 6 and they just got here, okay? The issue is that they don't they can stick their whole tongue out and lick their chin. They are okay. They do not have a tongue tie, okay? If that thing is glued to the back, like to the bottom of their mouth, and it is impacting feeding in infancy, great. Reason to talk about it. If it is impacting oral movement to the fact that they can't like, I don't even know. Sorry for those who are listening. I'm trying to emulate
visual bit for the audio format.
Yeah. If you're trying to make an L and you can only get halfway up your mouth with it, we got problems, and that's something that we should address. But like, I'm also really suspect of all this like airway stuff that I'm seeing right now, specifically with like, I don't know. It gives grift, but I don't have any evidence for that.
That's why I'm suspicious of it, but I'm not totally out on it because I know what sleep apnea can do,
and I know what persistent open mouth posture can do. Like it can really change the face, and so like there's evidence there.
Totally.
But, like, I think it's having a moment. I think motor stuff is having a moment. Which is really crazy to me because I feel like we've been knowing about motor stuff for a long time. Like this is not something that's new.
No, we have. Yeah, I think that, well, and this is an SLPeeve that's really specific, but speech as a fine motor task. Do not piss me off right now.
Do not piss me off right now. It is so much more than that.
A motor task.
So much more than that.
First of all, I said some people think speech is a fine motor task to an OT friend of ours, and her jaw dropped. She was like, no, it's not. It's an oral motor task. And I was like, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And also, it's not just a motor task, which is why insums don't work and blah, blah, blah. I could I could rattle on about this forever.
And in this TED Talk, I will.
Really?
Truly. No,
in this essay, I will.
I feel like when people say speech is a fine motor task, it gives me the same thing where they're like, well, they like it's a reading problem, not a language problem. And I'm like, girl, it's the same freaking thing. Okay. Like you are so far off base by saying that.
Yeah. The thing where it's like, they're not exactly the same. The Venn diagram isn't a circle, but it is a Venn diagram. And so we can't just say that like, no, speech is totally separate from language. It's just movements with your mouth. No, it isn't.
No, it isn't. No, it's movements for meaning and like,
yeah. And it also like it uses both parts of the brain. It does not just use one.
And it uses it so spontaneously, or not so spontaneously, but so interconnectedly, if that makes sense.
That's the thing. So like, okay, even if they were separate tasks, like language is totally separate from the motor movement of speech, which I do not believe it to be. Even if it were, the two processes are happening simultaneously. So what is the point in dividing it? Because even with apraxia of speech, which is a true motor-based speech disorder, you may start off with not non-speech, but like nonsense syllables. You may start off that way, but you don't camp out there. Anytime you're training anytime you're taking a motor-based approach, you want to attach language to it as expeditiously, as fast as you can, because otherwise it's not going to be meaningful and it's not going to carry over into their actual speech, because that's not how speech works.
Once again, and if it was, then oral motor exercises would work, and they don't.
And they don't. Yeah. There's no point in saying it's a fine motor exercise. First of all, no, it isn't. That's not what fine motor means. Second of all, no one's arguing that you don't move your mouth when you speak. Like, yes, it is a motor exercise. But yeah, we don't
It's more complex than that. It is reductive to say it's just fine motor.
I think about my little friend who had maybe the most severe childhood apraxia of speech that I've encountered as a professional, who could beatbox like a motherfucker. Dude. I will use that if we have to use the F word somewhere else.
This is our PG-13 like use of the word. That's our one. And you know what? He deserved it. Because that kid could beatbox like a
monster, which those are all the same muscles and coordination and everything that you need for speech. His speech was unintelligible.
And truly, and to the SLPs listening, we're talking 30% or lower with familiar listeners and context known. Yeah. Like it was truly an out-of-body experience to try and figure out what the student was talking about. But could beatbox outrageously. It was crazy.
It was truly, really impressive.
It was really impressive, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like,
I miss that kid. Now that I do too. I'm talking about him, I'm like, oh, I miss that kid. Yeah, I hope that wasn't too specific that we can't include it.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so.
But anyway, yeah, that's a big SLP of mine is people saying speech is fine motor. And usually I have been predominantly seeing that in supporters of spelling to communicate, which isn't an SLP of mine. That's a regular real life hatred that I am.
You said, no, I'm just a hater, actually.
I'm a hater. I'm a certified hater. It's great.
Oh, man. This is going to be a slight SLP. This is not a real SLP, and it's not something that I'm genuinely peeved off about because I think it's leading to good conversations. Kind of going back to the whole reading is not language conversation that I've been having. I feel like I have this conversation a lot with teachers and reading professionals where they're like, well, we just treat such different things. And I hate to break it to you, babe, we're working on the same stuff. I think about it in different ways than you do because we have different like educational backgrounds. We are working, I promise you, we are working on such similar things and you just don't realize it's language. This is also going to be kind of an SLP hot take. I think SLP should be involved more in schools. School and education is fully a language-based experience.
It is.
And if you have any type of both delay or disorder in language, it's going to be much harder for you. And I really feel like we should have SLPs involved at almost every level of education because it is such a language-based experience. I mean, truly, truly, truly. So for the reading interventionists and for the teachers who are like, only you can do this. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. I promise you, you know so much more than you think when it comes to language.
Yes.
I am not like the wizard of language out here, possessing skills otherwise unseen. And so I promise you, you have everything that you need in your power. You might just need the extra guiding thread from me to help like tie those pieces together. But you know, I promise you know.
Well, and I said this in our Reddit episode when I did the Orton Gillingham training. It was 90 to 95% review. Like I knew everything that I learned in that training, but it took somebody putting the pieces together for me to be like, it's like I had, oh my God, this is going to be like so artsy and dumb, but you know how I love a metaphor. So it's like I had all of the little shattered pieces and then somebody like turned them into like a mosaic. And I was like, reading. Hi, baby. Do you want to be on the podcast? Come here.
Look, Diamond, what grieves you, Diamond? Hi, Diamond.
It's thundering right now. She's sad.
Poor baby.
I know. This guy's growling at you. That's not nice. Not nice. Oh, don't cry. Oh, she just made the little crying sound. Along with some of that, like in that educational vein, I posted this to my story today. This is from... I follow this account called Farmer Loves Phonics, and they are a reading account on Instagram, but they reposted something. I think it's from Threads, but it was this person named Carl Hendrick saying, when middle-class children fail through discovery learning, their parents hire tutors who teach them explicitly. Working-class children just fail.
I saw that and I thought that was so profound.
It's so good. And so Farmer Loves Phonics went on to say, everyone benefits from explicit instruction. The explicit component will lead to the implicit. We can't skip it. Most kids will not discover how to read through exposure. And I would go so far as to say most people will not learn things with a depth of knowledge through exposure. Like, I think that in education, from what I have seen as a person working in schools, we've swung so far into the like, let kids discover it on their own, just give them the information and let them figure it out. Kind of like that. What is that? The Socratic method or whatever?
I can't remember.
Something.
It gives me very Lucy Calkins, like if you emulate what it means to, or what it looks like to be a good student, you'll be a good student kind of situation. Like the oh crud, what movie is that? Where they like think about the minuet in D and then you're gonna play the minuet in D. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay. Well, moment lost. All I'm saying is
Sorry.
all I'm saying is that I think we've swung into looking like learning as opposed to like actual learning.
Girl. Yes. And it is, this is not a dig at teachers. This is a dig at general
decades worth of instructional practices and how teachers are taught to educate.
Yeah.
Once again, this all comes back to soul to story. I really we got so far away from explicit instruction because it's not hot and it's not cute, but it works.
Yeah. And there is what I'm not talking about is like rote memorization. Like, I don't mean that, I don't mean like, oh, to teach kids vocab, sit them down with flashcards. No, I mean to teach kids vocab, teach them Greek and Latin roots of English words, teach them where these came from, teach them the vocabulary in context with enough like history and world knowledge to tie it to the meaning of the words, so that then when they read a book and you're not there, they can learn vocabulary from context. So I'm not saying like sit down with
and drill them
SAT flashcards.
Give them the tools to be able to learn in that more flexible and organic or like cutesy way.
Yeah. That's a big, not really an SLPeeve, because like I'm not a teacher, but it is an education pet peeve of mine.
Well, and also I feel like going back to the talk about like for the kids who do not, like the middle class kids who will receive explicit instruction, that's one of the things that you and I teach is roots and suffixes and prefixes and what those mean and kind of their etymology, to be able to give our kids who have language disorders tools to be able to figure out the language around them. And so like part of your students, like of the student population, are getting that instruction explicitly. It's with us.
Yes. Yeah. And that, again, along that point is like, it's not equitable because I actually just did a big long post on my newsletter about this, about like kind of the Matthew effect and like kids that start off with more gain more, kids that have the world exposure or world knowledge, content exposure, etc., to then be able to read to learn because they have real life experiences to tie new information to and to like anchor it. Oftentimes those experiences are behind a paywall. It's expensive to go to museums. It's expensive to go to summer camp. It's expensive to go to the movies. Like, it's expensive to just do stuff in the world. And so, but if that's the way that we gain experience, which is a teacher in and of itself, right? Then it makes school and learning inequitable, which is really sad. So, man.
In a similar thing that kind of leads me to another SLPeeve, and I don't have the answer for how to fix this one. I feel like most of the time I'm like, oh yeah, and this is how I would do it differently. I don't have the answer for that. I have gotten a lot of referrals in my career for kids who are low exposure, who they keep saying it's a language disorder, and it's not. And I can't fix that. And I don't know what to do about it either. I don't know what to do about it.
It's really hard. Like,
I saw it more at our last school than I did at this one. But it's still there. But like, I don't know.
It is. Yeah. I mean, it is like, do they not know? Do they keep calling a penguin a pigeon because they they're making a semantic error and they have that word mapped incorrectly and they have recall difficulty, or do they keep calling a penguin a pigeon because they've never seen a penguin and they don't know, no one has ever taught them what that means.
Yeah.
Which is like a kind of okay, no, it's actually not even an extreme example. That's like something
that's a really common example. That's a really, I've seen that before.
Yeah, they just give their best guess because they're like,
no, this is the schema that I know, and I'm applying this to this bird. And so our job as pathologists is to figure out, is that a semantic error that is secondary to a language disorder, or is that just an exposure deficit? And when it comes down to the conclusion of it being an exposure deficit, I don't know what to do next. Like, that's one place as a therapist that I'm like, I don't know what to recommend for that.
Well, okay, and I could be wrong about this, so feel free to disagree with me, seriously. But I do not believe that low exposure can cause a language disorder.
I agree with that.
You are truly deprived of language during the critical period or whatever. But I do believe that lack of exposure can cause a delay, and we delays.
It's not a disorder, but it is a deficit of language. And so like I don't disagree with that. I agree with you on that. And it can present itself
if we like think about a delay, it's like they are very likely to acquire language in the way that is expected, like in kind of that natural, typical acquisition, but they're late. And like that's what a delay is. And so, and in my mind, we treat delays. And so I think that at least in the private practice setting,
I was going to say, that's nice for you.
For me. That will qualify.
I was like, that's really cool for you.
Could I justify it to insurance? Only time will tell. Only time will tell.
Because that's been my big conversation recently too, is like, if I took all kids who had exposure-based language delays and deficits, I could have a caseload of 30 by itself with just those kids.
Totally.
And so whose shoulders does that fall on to spearhead this child's exposure, if that makes sense? Is it the job of a speech therapist? Is it the job of the teacher? Is it the job of the parents? Is it the job of a reading interventionist? Like who? And it's the short answer is probably all of us.
It's everyone.
It is. But
and there are a lot of really great. I think that sometimes we forget about these groups because we're not in constant contact with them. But there are a lot of great government subsidized or like grant funded programs like Parents as Teachers and like things that where they are people going into the home and setting parents and families up for success. I think my mom said she did Parents as Teachers.
My mom did Parents as Teachers with both John and I. It was awesome program. And
like even when my sister was born, which is like, or no, it must have been my younger brother, or maybe by the time Molly was born, my mom was like, okay, I think I got the hang of it. But I think like even with like me and then my brother who was adopted when he was a toddler, and then my sister, she had Parents as Teachers in for all three of us. And like, I think that probably made a really big difference. Even though, I mean, my mom's awesome.
It's a great tool. Yeah. Truly a great tool.
Yeah. So, and there are lots of groups that do stuff like that. Sometimes they're hard to find, and oftentimes they are overtaxed because there's just a lot of need out there. So, yeah, I think you're totally right. It is probably kind of all of us.
It's probably kind of all of us, which is really cool. And like, it would be in a perfect world, then we would all like fist bump and it would all be better.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that is not the case.
Power Rangers, like power. Yeah.
Yes. Mighty Morphin out here. Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. And then I'm looking at my caseload that's ever growing, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. So anyways, it's just, you know what, we always find a way though. That's the TLDR of that, is that it will find a way. We will find a way to help our kids. So woof.
For sure. Any final thoughts about SLPeeves?
I'm trying to think about it. I'm done with my wine. Have I sufficiently yapped? I don't know.
Yeah, those are some SLPeeves.
Gonna be more.
I know the one that we cut out is definitely one that I'm thinking about recently a lot. It's been a real and present SLP for me, but We're not going to be mean. We're going to be nice.
We don't even have to be nice. We just can't.
We're going to be cordial.
We can be cordial. We just can't be hateful. And unfortunately, that
was a little hateful. Dang it.
And I'm not opposed to that, but that's why we keep it off the pod.
I know. Yeah, that's off mic. That's off mic. Incredible.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well, let's wrap up our inaugural episode of Tell Me About It After Dark.
I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
This is a fun little casual side of the job that we do and love so frequently. And so, welcome.
I think we have another one of these on our schedule to record. We will both watch a film that has strong tie-ins to speech pathology, and then we will meet up and chat about it. And that'll be our next episode of Tell Me About It After Dark. But yeah, so that's what you have to look forward to. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, wait. Off mic, we need to talk about Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Okay.
I'm halfway through.
Okay, let's wrap this up because I need
we got to talk about this next. Anyways, this has been Tell Me About It After Dark.
This has been Tell Me About It After Dark. At night. I keep wanting to say that like
I know, the SpongeBob era, like
at night.
At night. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But as per usual, you can find us on YouTube and Spotify and also on Instagram at Tell Me About It SLP. All right. Bye.
Have a good night. Bye, guys.
Have a good night. Wait, that's such a cute sign off. Have a good night.